push. Week one, things can be a little sloppy, ball might get a little loose. So what are your conversations with the guys about trying to put together a clean performance?
Yeah, I think it's everything you talked about. We certainly, I think the whole country was watching that Iowa State, Kansas State game, and taking just a lot of the different scenarios that come up. Again, you try to practice as many of those different situations, whether it be 2-minute, 4-minute, emphasis on ball security. But it's going to be critical for the guys. It's their first live action as a 2025 unit. Ultimately, you got to be ready. There's going to be some things that happen. We got to play one play at a time and be ready to go.
Bush, what did you learn about Zach Calzada since he got here from now that maybe you didn't know from watching 6 years of college film?
I think there's always the human element to it. I think he's got a contagious personality. You never know. When we go through this process, particularly in the transfer portal, it's 3-4 days and you're making a critical decision on somebody. And so I just think there's a lot of people rooting for him. He's a guy that's willing to put in the work. He's a guy that wants to be around everybody, that wants to bring people together. And I think we're fortunate in that regard from a leadership standpoint. We think he has a lot of those qualities.
Toledo's got a pretty experienced secondary. What kind of challenges are they going to face?
I think this is as well a coached team as we've probably seen in a while. I think the message we all know, right? This is a team that played and played extremely well against Mississippi State in that win, that beat Pitt in their last game. And so it's an extremely tough unit, fundamentally sound, play their butt off. We know what's ahead of us.
We've heard this term kind of game manager used. Zach's used it as well. Is it fair to say that the whole playbook is open for him, or how are you kind of attacking this first game for him for Kentucky?
Yeah, we're sticking to our game plan. It's the regular plan, if you will. I think every game at the quarterback position, you got to pick and choose your battles and pick when to be aggressive, when not to be. Again, it'll be the first live action for him. Making plays down the field when the opportunity presents itself. When it's not there, vertical runs, throwing checkdowns, always going to just come with creating that flow in our offense by taking what they give you.
How's Willie Rodriguez? How can he be used to create mismatches?
I think, again, we feel strongly about him. Josh Caddis has had an extremely good spring as well. He's a guy that has been here a lot, played a lot. I think Willie's got that rare ability to stretch the field and also show that physicality. But again, you guys know it's matchups against linebackers, sometimes safeties, where those tight ends can create a mismatch, and we know we got to get done with that group.
Heard a lot of great things about Jason Patterson from some of the scrimmages, but he wasn't on the depth chart, neither was Jermaine Wilcox. How are the running backs going to be managed with kind of the different options there? Obviously, Dante and Seth as well.
Yeah, we're very proud of what Jason's done. Again, he's been a guy who, in this day and age, we bring in 2 transfer portal players at the running back position. He didn't miss a beat. He came out here, he's worked his tail off for the last 6 months, had a great offseason, and is getting a lot better. So what he offers for us and what Wilcox offers is good depth. I do think we're going to lean on the 2 veteran backs with their experience and how long they've played and go from there.
To kind of piggyback off that, a lot of oars for the wide receiver position in the 2 deep. How do you guys handle or kind of plan to use each guy, whether it be a taller guy like JJ in the goal in the red zone, or maybe a shorter guy like Kendrick in the screen game? So how does that kind of work, putting guys in the right position?
Yeah, with the utilization of personnel groups, we feel we can get certain guys into certain spots. But it's everything you said. There are a lot of oars there because it's one of those things. Until you're playing in that first game, you never know exactly what you have. And so we've always felt that position. There hasn't been necessarily a true one, in our opinion, that stood out, but there's a bunch of guys that have done a nice job. So we're excited to see him play on Saturday and continue to work with him and just see how that room separates itself.
Well, this is a big game for everyone, obviously, but do you get the sense that the offensive line in particular has something to prove this week?
I think we all have something to prove, so I don't know if there's just one single group. I think I've got something to prove. I think the quarterbacks, every group does. And so, but you got something to prove every week in this conference, and I think you guys know that as well, so it's the process. Came out here, had a good Tuesday practice, got to have a good Wednesday, got to have great prep, and we all got something to prove. So.
What do you feel like you have to
Well, we certainly got to play, much better on offense. I mean, I know that's not a big-time crazy answer, but we've got to score more points. We've got to make sure we go out there, not beat ourselves first and foremost, play sound football. I know that message has been said. I want to see us go play, utilize tempo, play fast. You got 35 new players, and we got to play in rhythm. And we got to make sure we're out there clicking, keeping it simple, but still being effective and having enough. So.
You said no one had really emerged as the one at wide receiver. Is that concerning, or is that just a testament to the competition level?
We'll see. I don't have an honest answer to that. I think there has been some inconsistency or holding certain guys to that standard of being the one, and to be that one, it's got to be every single day. But then from a depth standpoint, it has been impressive. Again, we've talked about some of these freshmen. A guy like Cam Miller has come out here and surprised us in a lot of ways. Didn't show up till June and really has had a nice camp. And so it's a little bit of both. But again, as you guys know, you think you have one thing, and when bright lights go, certain guys hide in games and certain guys really show up in games. So we're excited to see that and see how fast they can go play.
You looked at Toledo's tape. Did anybody jump out at you on the defensive side of the ball, a guy that you really have to pay attention to?
Yeah, I think the corner, it's impressive. It's hats off to that staff, because I think that corner is a guy that probably could have left and played a lot of different places. The safety, number 7, is an extremely good player as well. I think they're very experienced on the back end, and although they've lost a lot up front, I think they've added some value players who've played a lot of football. So, again, I think the secondary certainly is an experienced group, has played a lot of football, but these guys play well as a team. Staff's been together for a long, long time. It matters, and we know what they can do in games like this.
You talked about freshmen a little bit ago. On the 2 deep for the offensive line, we saw 2 true freshmen there in Jaden and Darren. Can you talk about what you've seen from them and what they've kind of done to give you guys the confidence to put them on that 2 deep?
Yeah, just really impressive anytime you get a freshman in this style of system, to be able to comprehend the whole system, and to still be able to play fast. There's a natural instinctual part to that I don't think you can necessarily teach. Those guys have been able to come in, handle the playbook, handle the checks, and really from a physicality standpoint, I think both those guys are about their business and love playing football. And so because of that, when the opportunity came up this fall for them to make a run at it, they played solid, and that's why they're where they're at.
Coach, this time last year, it was obviously your first game here in Lexington. Obviously, the weather kind of threw a wrench in that, but how much more confident, how much more comfortable do you feel heading into year 2 and your first game here at Kentucky?
Yeah, year 2 in football is like year 8 in anything else, so I just, again, whether it was first year with Eric Wolford as the offensive line coach and him and I together, and so certainly feel very comfortable, but when you're looking at these guys and our opponent, they're like in year 9 together or 10 together, so it is what it is. Definitely feel more comfortable. This offensive staff's been tremendous, but again, we got a lot of work we got to get done.
How do you get off to a fast start on Saturday?
Playing fast, keeping it simple. Again, everything for us is getting these guys to play fast. I'm not necessarily just talking about tempo. I know that's always a thing that's brought up, but how we can keep it simple, how we can get the quarterback in rhythm, how we can get the run game going. Again, it's the first time you got 11 new pieces, and you gotta get those guys playing accordingly.
Yes, ma'am. I'm excited, just ready for the opportunity. We've been waiting for this for a while, so just excited to go out and play.
I'm sure it's been a long journey for you. Obviously, when you went to Incarnate Word, I'm sure some people maybe wrote you off, but you're back here in the SEC. How pumped up are you ready to go to prove yourself once again that you're a top-level quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm just excited to go out and play with this group of guys and this team and go play football, man. When this time comes around, we've been waiting for 6-7 months, so just to get back out on the field and play important games that matter to us and a lot of other people, and it's just exciting.
There's a lot of oars listed at wide receiver on the depth chart. Does that affect you guys at all with them moving in and out, or not so much?
No, I mean, for the most part, that's just kind of stuff we handle internally, but whoever's out there, I'm confident in whoever we got out there.
What do you think you learned, and how do you think you grew just over this fall camp?
I think just growing in the system, learning to play within the system, and spent a lot of time with Coach Bush, and just knowing when to take certain chances and when to keep us ahead of the sticks and just operating in the offense.
Coach Stoop said that you get a little itch and you want to use that big arm. Is it tough sometimes to pull back the reins and not let that thing fly deep?
Yeah, I mean, I think I like to go by the saying, I got to be Clark Kent until it's time to be Superman, and that might be in game one and it might not be. I just playing within the system and doing whatever the team needs me to do.
Experienced defense on the other side of the ball. What have you maybe seen from film-wise from Toledo so far?
They're going to play hard, man. We know that they're going to come in and we go by the motto this week of respect all, fear none, and that's going to be all season. So, our opponent's faceless. We have a lot of respect for them. They're going to come in and, we know it's one of their bigger games this season. So, we got to give them the respect that, they deserve coming into this game and give them our best.
Zach, what was the thing you wanted the most from your new teammates that you came in and you tried to lock down this start?
Right. Just that I'm going to be there for them, that I'm somebody that they can rely on. And, I feel like that's what everybody wants in a teammate and a leader is somebody that they can rely on and off the field. And so just, being that leader that they need at quarterback and, operating and leading this team where we want to go.
You've been around college football for a while, obviously. What have you learned about what it takes to be ready for week number one and not have any rust when you're out on those opening couple drives?
Just a lot of preparation and a lot of reps. And I think, like you said, that rust, it started at the beginning of camp and just, taking advantage of every single rep. We've been practicing different situations since the beginning of camp, and we know that every situation that we practice, we might only get 1 or 2 shots at that before the game comes. So just, making sure that we've taken every rep seriously and made the most of every rep, every practice, over the last month and getting ready for this game.
You talked about the Toledo defense being tough. What's it going to take for you all to have a successful and clean game on Saturday?
Right. I think we all just need to do our job and play within the system. Nobody needs to go out and do anything different. We practice, we prepare. We have a great group of coaches that, are going to put us in the best situations, in the best positions to go make plays. And I think we just need to do our job, play within the system, run the ball, execute. For me, it's take completions, not try to do too much.
What would make Saturdays, besides getting a win, successful for you guys? What do you need to see on tape when you watch it back?
Well, like you said, a win. Absolutely. That's for me. Going into the season, that's how I'm determining success, just winning games. But for me, as a quarterback, just want to play a clean game, make good decisions. In our RPOs, let certain runs eat, and just make right decisions on those. And for the rest of the guys, making good decisions, executing, and playing fast and playing comfortable.
Bush stressed the importance to us about you guys coming out and starting well, playing fast. He said fast but simple. Mm-hmm. How do you break that down in your view as a quarterback?
Right. I mean, just like I said, we great group of coaches, and they do a really good job of not only coming up with really good plays for us, but teaching them really well. And just whatever our job is, whatever we're supposed to do, every play we need to do that. We don't need to try to be Superman. We don't need to try to do something on our own. Just execute what we're coached to do this week.
Saturday will be the first time we really get to see Seth and Dante go. Coach kind of kept them out of some practices, some scrimmage, but they're 100% ready to go. What should we expect from those guys once they really get going?
Oh man, I'm excited for those guys. Both really tough runners, quick, agile, they're fast. Man, I'm just as excited as you to watch them play. So I'm excited to get them the ball and see what they can do.
Okay, folks, thank you.
Yeah, guys, a little bit.
How excited are you to get it going?
It's excited, not even a word. I would say, honestly, just overjoyed. Honestly, I think the energy this week and last week been through the roof. Just knowing that, we got a pretty good challenge this weekend. Toledo, obviously been picked to win the MAC. I'm pretty sure they had some good success last year playing SEC opponents. So it'll be a great challenge for week one. A great way for us to show our fans what we've been building over the summer. And I'm excited.
A win is always the goal, but when you watch it back Sunday or whenever you guys watch film, what would make this game a success? Like, what do you need to see?
I think the big thing would be for us to just know that every snap and with all of our details that we're establishing our character out there. Like, it's never about the opponent. That's something that I always preach to our guys. Even when I was at New Mexico State and we were playing some of those bigger teams, I'm like, it's not about the opponent. It's never about who we're playing. It's about us. It's about how we're establishing ourselves and how strong we are in our identity out there. So just looking for that.
What is the identity of this offense?
Fast, strong, and we like to be one of those guys. We're gonna beat you with our feet. We're gonna beat you with our brain too.
Kind of like Zach for whatever reason, had to go down a level, play a couple years, but now you're back on that SEC level,
sir.
big time stage. How excited are you to show everyone what you're made of after the things you've had to deal with?
Yeah, I think above all else, I'm just grateful. Honestly, like I said, football is the same place no matter where you go. It's the same thing. So, just being here and being able to, like I said, bring some of that culture that I've gained from some of the past programs, and also everything that I've accumulated over the years, and like I said, just be able to help to bring this team to championship, which I know is very possible.
What does Coach Bulwer mean to you?
Nah, I ain't gonna lie, he means a lot. That's my boy. That's my dog. Like I said, me and him know, we talk about it every day. We say full circle. We just, that's kind of been our little mantra. And, that'll definitely be one of my friends, after I leave here. It's something that, like I said, we just give all credit to God every day. And, we also push each other and learn off of each other every day and building on what we were always meant to do. So, yeah, that's really what he means to me.
And those guys blocking up front for you,
Yeah.
have you gained a sense during camp and throughout practice that they've got something to prove?
Yeah, it's a legit group of dudes. Like, I've been around a lot of great old lines, but these guys have taken an approach, and Jagger and Braun, Farmer, they've taken an approach that, is unmatched. You'll find it's unmatched among kind of the majority of football teams. This old line is truly, I feel like, probably the strongest unit on our team. And so I think we've got like 4 of them that are in our leadership council alone. So that's a big testament to them and their character. But yeah, I'm beyond grateful and excited to run behind them dudes. Like I tell you, it's no better feeling than knowing you have an O-line like that.
Coach Stoops made the comment on his radio show last night about Jalen Farmer.
Yeah.
Talked about him in particular, that he's got bad intentions.
Yeah, he do. He controlled chaos. That's why I like the guy. He's a man of controlled chaos, man. He a dog. He definitely don't got no quit him, and probably the most passionate dude on the team. Like I said, me and him, I feel like we extremely passionate. Like I said, the other day, I'm going up to him in the training room. He taking off his tape, and he looked upset. I'm like, man, what's going on? He talking about 1-2 plays in practice that you know what I'm saying, he just didn't like. But to see how much that carries with him outside of this facility, and how every day he comes and he lifts guys up and he makes sure everybody's locked in, ready to go, fired up. So yeah, I'm a huge Farmer fan. Like, Farmer one of my favorite dudes on the team, for real.
Despite you not maybe participating in all the scrimmages, we still hear your name all the time in practice. Talk about your running style, what you bring to the game, and what we maybe should expect from you on Saturday.
Yeah, I just try to be as dominant as I can, as explosive as I can. I say I try to. There's no area that I like to leave unattended in my game. I've always been a guy that, was looking up to Adrian Peterson, but I was also looking up to guys like Alvin Kamara and then Marshawn Lynch and then the Josh Jacobs. I try to pull from everybody. To just make myself the ultimate player, the ultimate team player on offense. That's ultimately what I aim to be, no matter if I'm in the backfield or split out wide. The ultimate goal is just get the ball in the end zone. I take pride in blocking, take a lot of pride in blocking downfield, pass protection. That's something I'm huge on. So, yeah, I'm more of an all-around dude, all-around guy.
And talk a little bit about your partner in crime, Dante. What can we expect?